Welcome back, everyone, to the W Sports Podcast. We have the MLB playoffs and we have some fantasy football. What is this, week 6 advice for start, sit, all that good stuff. I know you all are battling the bye weeks already. Started off last week. Here we are. So this is going to be a great episode. Tubby, welcome back to the show.
What is up?
Yeah, it's good to be back. You know what I realized? I'm always like, Tubby, welcome back to the show. And I'm like, people who listen to the show don't watch it. They're like, who's the guy talking? We don't know his name. But anyway, if I've done that, I'm sorry, everybody. I'm Jimothy. Tubby's the best co-host in the business. Today, we're going to be talking about MLB playoffs as we jump off the show, and then we're going to end it with some fantasy football advice. So, but before we do that, make sure you hit subscribe on the show if you haven't already, because Tubby, we have a giveaway. And if you missed it, we revealed it last week, and Tubby had a great show, or this week, and then we also put it on the podcast in yesterday's episode with This Weekend in Football. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe, because that is the easy and the free way to qualify.
I mean, who doesn't want a free signed NFL jersey? Just
Come on. It's awesome. So, yeah, that being said, let's jump into it because we got MLB playoffs. It's an incredible time in baseball. Every stadium is packed with a home game. It's so much fun. Now, as we speak, we do have the New York Mets have already confirmed they punched their ticket. They're going to go to the NLCS. The Phillies lose again in the playoffs too early. That was my World Series pick, so there you go. Let's start with the Mets. They're just the hot team right now, right?
Yeah. This is a team that it don't matter how many runs you're up on right now. This team does not quit, and we've seen it the last 2 weeks, especially the playing series where they are a team that will scrap and fight to the end. So no lead is safe with that team right now.
Yeah, and they're playing good defense overall, but they're pitching. Guys, I think they forget. I mean, can anybody tell me who started the game yesterday?
No. Oh, Jose Quintana, didn't he?
Bingo. I think that guy, that type of pitcher is such a secret weapon when it comes to playoff baseball. He's been in the seat before. He's done really well. He knows that he's a pitcher, not a thrower. Dude, and I think they have surprised a lot of people. Probably not Mets, maybe even Mets fans. They surprised us for sure. But they are a hot team right now. The other team that seemed like they were going to steamroll their way into it going into last night, as we record this, it's Thursday. Last night's game was the San Diego Padres, but they ran into a buzzsaw of a bullpen game and lost 8-0 to take a winner-take-all game back in Los Angeles tonight as we release the episode. Where it's the Dodgers win, they're going to the NLCS. If they lose, it's the Padres. Who do you got, Tubby? I know you're an LA fan. I'm wearing an LA hat just for the record.
You're really gonna make me pick?
No, I won't make you pick. Here, I'm not gonna make you pick.
We know how superstitious I am.
Yeah,
I can't. I don't like picking, but so off camera, we had a little discussion. I said I have a crazy idea for tomorrow night. So Yamamoto, he's on 5 days rest. Flaherty's on 4 days rest. But this is my thinking. The Padres have not scored a single run after the third inning in this series. Every single run they have scored has been, third inning and nothing after that. So, as great as bullpen game we had yesterday, this is my thought. We started out as another, bullpen game. You throw Brazier out there again, couple innings, and then fourth inning, we bring in Jack Flaherty. Flaherty has come out of the bullpen in playoffs before. He'll have 4 days rest. Let him go 3 or 4 innings, get to the 7th, 8th. And then you throw in Phillips and Kopech and stuff like that, because they have not been able to touch the Dodgers bullpen. The Dodgers bullpen has shut them down every single game. So why not start it out that way when the only way that they're winning these games, even in
explosive early innings,
even in the wild card, they were jumping on teams so early, and teams just really didn't have any way back because that bullpen for the Padres is so tough too. I think start out with one of these relief pitchers that you just haven't been able to touch the first few innings, and then go to your starter that you were probably going to start. Maybe not Yamamoto because he's not ever came out of the pen, but I think Flaherty would be a great option because he pitched much better than Yamamoto did. Bring him in and let him go 3 or 4 innings, and hopefully we have the lead by then.
Yeah, I think the only question becomes if you use those really solid shutdowns starting, who's going to close the game out when it matters most, those outs are so difficult.
Well, this is how I have it set up. I think you go pretty much the blueprint you did yesterday. Ryan Brazier right off the bat, Anthony Bounda right behind him, and then maybe Alex Vesia or someone the third inning. Vesia, he did pitch more fifth, sixth inning, and then at the end you'll still have Trinan, Kopech, and Evan Phillips, who have all big closers in high leverage games.
Yeah.
I think that it would be a great recipe, and it would be
Okay.
something that the Padres probably would not expect, and maybe throw them off their game right off the bat.
Yeah, I can see that. So yeah, I think it's a bold strategy, and it's in a game 5 winner take all. I mean, that's the game you do that strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I do if they do, it's too open to know who's gonna do it. There's too much back and forth. If you force me to pick a team, I'm gonna pick the Padres, and I hate picking the Padres. For the record, every team in the NFL in the NL that's left, I hate them. I just don't like them. Sorry for your Dodgers. I'm just a Cardinals fan, and I cannot do this. But I hope the Dodgers win because I hate the Padres more.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a Dodgers fan, so I absolutely.
Oh yeah, you're on board. Yeah,
yeah. No, real quick, I want to jump back to the Phillies Mets.
Oh,
Outside of Castellanos and Harper, what was the rest of the 7 hitters batting average, total batting average?
Oh man, I'm gonna say 100. Like I don't think they did. I just didn't see them do anything.
Very close, 130.
Oh man,
they went 10 for 130.
Yeah, that's bad, and they didn't play that way in the beginning of the whole season, and that's the problem because it's not like you have bad pieces, or you did what the Tampa Bay Rays do, and you put pieces together, and then the playoffs come, and they're not built for that. Like these guys, Kyle Schwarber, Alec Boehm, like all these guys are built for this. Trey Turner, good lord, come on.
Yeah, it's insane that offense that most of the time you're looking 1 through 9, you're like, man, who's going to be the guy that we want to pitch to? 2 guys, that was pretty much all your offense was.
Yeah. That was weird. Well, let's look at real quick Detroit versus Cleveland. There's a chance that as we release this, that Detroit won yesterday. Oh my gosh, they're going to the ALCS. Yeah. Or, dude, who wins the game 5 winner take all tomorrow as we release this episode? That's the options we have. The game's on TNT, which is still mind-boggling to me. Yeah. But give me if Detroit wins, why? The series.
It has to be the surprising amount of offense that they've had the last few games. The fact that they got to Emmanuel Clase, the guy hadn't given up a run in over a month, and Kerry Carpenter, all he does is go, hey, let me hit a 3-run bomb real quick off the most dominant pitcher in baseball. I mean, we talked about this is the team that you did not want to play in the playoffs right now, and offensive wise, honestly, you look at the lineup and you go, okay, I probably know Riley Green. Some people probably know Spencer Torkelson because he was the first pick. And most of those other guys, you're like, who on earth are these players?
Yeah, it's a fun matchup. I tell you what, though, between this series and the Kansas City versus New York series, everybody in Major League Baseball is saying you better let the Yankees win the AL because these 3 markets are tiny compared, and it will not get the eyeballs on the sport. And I get that, but I hope Detroit wins. I don't I will cheer for Cleveland if they're playing a team that I hate, but I don't really care for Cleveland that much. Stephen Kwan, though, he's been on a tear, which is no surprises there. Kansas City, New York Yankees. Tonight is game 4, and if Yankees win, they take it and they go to the ALCS. The game last night, literally in the bottom of the 8th inning, was set up for. And I say last night. This is Thursday as we record this. The game was set up for the Royals to have exactly what they wanted in the 8th inning. We had Witt on. Salvi was up. But the one that got to it was the Vinny Pasquantino. It looked like it was a hit. Even the broadcast said, that's a base hit, and it tailed back towards the second baseman. If that ball drops, with the rest of the sequence, they score a run. Yeah. And that's the hard part. Because Yuli Gurriel coming in, also, like, that's a sac fly. But when he came up, I was like, that's the guy you want up right now. Yeah. So, it's a tough pot.
Yeah, I'm pulling for the Royals. I absolutely hate the Yankees.
I like the Yankees, but yeah.
I mean, baseball hopes it's the Dodgers-Yankees World Series because 100%. We haven't seen that since the 80s. Yeah. And so, your 2 biggest markets in baseball, but as a Dodgers fan, I don't really like the Yankees. I love Bobby Witt, so I want to see the Royals go on. But The most mind wrecking thing is the fact that Judge is still just cannot hit in the playoffs. He has the highest strikeout rate percentage in Major League playoff history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like he has to be pressing too hard to do
Yeah.
it. Like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
just go look for a fastball, go hit it. Like, and I
Yeah.
know it sounds easier said than done. I didn't hit 58 home runs this year. He did. Like, he
Yeah.
knows. And he's got the weight of New York on his back, and honestly, the face of baseball on his back. So
Yeah. He
it's
really
tough. But
does.
I do think the Yankees do win the series. If not tonight, as we record, then they'll win it. On
Yeah.
what would it be, Saturday? I just think that they are probably the better team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, without a
They
doubt,
should
they've
be.
beat
Yeah.
better teams this year. So I'm going to take the Yankees. I do want the Royals to win. I wish tickets tonight originally when they
Mm-hmm.
went back home at tied 1-1 for tonight, 2 tickets was going to be $460 in the 400s. So I did not
No,
go. I'm not going, unfortunately. But
you didn't buy those tickets.
no, no. I want, dude, playoff baseball. I want to so bad. But
Yeah.
let's. Any other baseball thoughts before we move on?
I think this is the playoffs that baseball has needed. The
Yes.
playoffs have been incredible, and I
Yeah.
think it has shown with the amount of fans that have been at these games, even like the small market games, like
Packed out.
Cleveland and Detroit. Yes, the games are just so packed. This is something baseball desperately needed. Was an incredible playoffs, and for them it probably would be best if it's Dodgers Yankees, but I think that maybe we're bringing back some more hype to the game of baseball.
I hope so. It's been awesome. All the
Yeah.
I mean, so many of these games have
Mm-hmm.
been really great to watch.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if it would have been Cleveland versus Milwaukee? Oh my god! Oh my god, that would have been terrible. Don't
Oh
watch.
gosh. No.
All right, let's move to some fantasy football advice. We know that everybody out there, you got bye weeks. Maybe this is a pivotal week for you, and so you're like, "Hey, Tubby, who should I start?" Because I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Let's start with who is your sleeper quarterback play.
Which this is crazy. The fact that he's still considered a sleeper right now. It's Baker Mayfield, ranked
I did see that.
15th
Yeah.
this week. I know they're playing the Saints, but the Saints defense hasn't played great the last few games.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, outside of the one dud game against the Broncos, has scored at least 18 fantasy points every single week.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield is going to have another great game, and I think they're going to take a command on this in this division with the way they have played, and we know they can't run the football. They're going to throw the football. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Kate Otten. I think
watch out.
Yeah, Baker at 15 is insane.
Yeah, I do like that one. I chose for my sleeper, and I went this week based off ESPN rankings. I think a lot of people who play fantasy sports, they do use ESPN. So I don't know is that who you use on your rankings?
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to separate. I did sleeper the last couple weeks, but this week I did that one. I chose Caleb Williams. He's playing against Jacksonville, and he seems like he's finding a little bit of a rhythm. I don't think it's smooth sails from here on out, but give me Caleb Williams. He also hasn't started running.
No, last week was his. Well, it should have been a rushing touchdown. Somehow it got called back because of holding or something. But I agree. I think Caleb has really grasped that offense a lot better the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. All right, give me your bust quarterback. Don't start.
Man, so I was going to say Brock Purdy, but they play on
it's a little too early. Yeah,
Thursday, so you can't call that. I'm going to go with the guy that's like ranked like 5th. And they are playing Las Vegas, but I'm gonna go with Justin Fields. I don't trust that offense right now. And then plus, there's something weird going on with George Pickens. I don't know if you saw that. All the stuff with the face tape and all that. But like, they showed a video of him running routes in that Dallas game, and it was the most lazy, lackadaisical routes I have seen from supposedly supposed to be a star wide receiver. I was like, this is why I was glad the Packers did not draft him.
Yeah, he's one of the biggest divas for somebody who's done nothing. I don't understand. I get it when you've done stuff. Okay, fine. At least you've earned it, but no. All right, I chose Jalen Hurts. He's coming off a bye week, which normally like, I'm not on board yet. AJ Brown, Jalen, not Waddle. I almost said Waddle. Devontae Smith. I'm not 100% sold on that right now. I think they may lean more on Barkley, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass on that. We're gonna move on to running backs. We'll start with who you're gonna start. I have 2 options, so I'm gonna let you go first because I have a
2
backup.
options also.
Okay, so you want me to go first because you went first last time?
I don't care.
All right, for my stardom, I'm gonna say Austin Eckler.
Okay.
Give me Eckler. I think with Robinson's a little bit hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he comes in, plays a little bit, but I like Eckler. He's
Yeah,
also
no,
been
I
already
agree.
consistent.
Yeah, he has been really consistent. He's been a lot more than I expected.
Yeah.
So I have two options also, but I'm trying to decide between which one. I'm gonna go with Rico Dowdle. I
There's
know
my
they're
other one.
playing. Was it? Yeah,
Mhm.
you can tell they're starting to get him the ball more. And well, yeah, last week he had 19 fantasy points. I think
Yeah.
we're starting to see him being more of the featured back. Yeah, they are playing Detroit. Detroit does have a pretty solid defense. If I was going to pick another one, it's going to be Najee versus the Raiders.
Okay. Another person who's been consistent, even though he hasn't been breaking off huge games. So I
Yeah,
like both of those. Who's your bust running back?
Josh Jacobs.
Oh,
And
yeah.
as a Packers fan, and
Yeah.
it's not because the dude's getting volume, getting volume out like crazy. He just cannot find the end zone. He found the end zone last week for the first time, but even look back at that Tennessee game when he had 30 some carries for 150 some yards. He ended up with like 15 fantasy points because he didn't score a touchdown.
Yeah. Find the end zone. Let's go. Yeah, it's a good. I like that one a lot. I had two options. One is if he plays Joe Mixon. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
liking off the bye, but the more one I'm gonna go after is Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah,
Right now, he's my. It's just that off. The New England is really throwing this year in, which I think they should. This is not
yeah.
their year to win. They're just no explosion. I don't think he's gonna have maybe a shot at the end zone, and he hasn't
Mm-hmm.
been the guy to do it. He's been the guy that fumbled so far this year.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't have him. When it comes to wide receivers, I have a big one,
Oh yeah.
and it's because of Nico Collins' injury.
we
Tank Dell, baby.
were thinking the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's last year when he was when the injuries were happening. He was just that guy, and I think with Stephon Diggs there, I think this is a key opportunity for him to do what he did last year, and why people drafted him, and people are gonna be like, "See, I told you so."
Yep. I agree. That's who I was thinking. If we were to go different, just like
Yeah,
outside of wide receivers, give me Tucker Kraft for the Green Bay Packers. He has now.
I
I thought
like
he was
it.
going to be the starting, end up being the number one tight end over. Like name slips my mind. He's hurt now, anyways. Musgrave, and
Okay,
so I think Kraft, he has shown he is a big target for Jordan Love. He had 20 something fantasy
broken
points last
away.
week.
Yeah,
I think he's going to have another 15, 16 fantasy point week this week.
yeah. I like you sneaking in the tight end. That was really really good. Who are you not starting though? Especially if you're starting a tight end. You found
Yeah.
a tight end to sneak in there. Who are you not starting?
So I was going to say Debo. Like I said earlier, I was going to pick two 49ers, but they're playing on Thursday.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a big game last week, first
Hmm.
time this season. They targeted him 23 times, and he still, barely broke the 20 mark. I think this offense is lost, and even
Yeah.
with the change of play calling, it's going to be even more lost this week. I'm not starting them against the Bills, and the Bills have a pretty solid secondary right now.
Yeah, I like that pick. I went with, and this is going to surprise people, Marvin Harrison Jr. Or he's just been too boomer bust, and I get that he's a rookie, but also
Mm-hmm.
okay. The other one is Chris Olave.
Mm-hmm.
With Derek Carr's injury,
Yeah,
and then also for the record, you know who's starting for the Saints this week?
yeah, Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, not the guy who played in relief. I thought that was interesting. So
Yeah,
I thought there would be a competition this week, but I figured it'd be more so next week where Rattler would
yeah.
have a chance. So
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like it. Yeah.
No,
So
I
that's what I
agree.
got. Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah. So that's your fantasy advice. Now, if you do comment on the show today as you see this, maybe, if you do comment today and you're like, hey, who do I start? Put that in the chat. We will do our best to keep an eye on the comments so that way you can make those
Mm-hmm.
last minute adjustments, especially for those guys who you've been watching on the injury and then
Yeah,
they turn out to be out. Put those in the comment section. We'll do our best. But yeah, that's this week in football and baseball. So
yeah.
thank you guys so much for being a part of the show. We look forward to seeing y'all. We'll see you on the football recap as we get to that early next week.
See ya.
See ya.